In this session of CCNA series, I'll discuss about IP address classes. There are around 4.3 billion IPv4 addresses. Managing all those addresses without any scheme are next to impossible. Let's understand it with a simple example. If you have to find a word from a language dictionary, how long will you take? Usually you will take less than 5 minutes to find out that word. You are able to do this because words in the dictionary are organized in alphabetic order. If you have to find out the same word from the dictionary which does not use any sequence or order to organize the words, how long will you take this time? It may take up to 1 week to find out what that specific word from all the words. If an unorganized dictionary which roughly contains 1 billion words can take a 5 minutes task in a 1 week task, then suppose how nearly 4.3 billion addresses will make a search task complicated if they are unorganized. For easier management and assignment, IP addresses are organized in numeric order and divided in following 5 classes: Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D, and Class E. Each class has a range of valid IP addresses. The value of the first octet determines the class. For example, 0 to 127 determine the Class A IP address range. 128 to 191 determines the Class B IP address range. 192 to 223 determines the Class C IP address range. 224 to 239 determines the Class D IP address range. And the last 240 to 255 determines the Class E address range. IP addresses from the first 3 classes, A, B, and C, can be used for the host addresses. The other 2 classes are used for other purposes. Class D for multicast and Class E for experimental purposes. Let's see how the classes were created. As you know, an IP address is the combination of network and host ID. In each IP address, few bits are reserved for network address. The classes were created based on the network size. In Class A, the first 8 bits are reserved respectively for network addresses, which gives you the sub. In this session of CCNA series, I'll discuss about IP address classes. There are around 4.3 billion IPv4 addresses. Managing all those addresses without any scheme are next to impossible. Let's understand it with a simple example. If you have to find a word from a language dictionary, how long will you take? Usually you will take less than 5 minutes to find out that word. You are able to do this because words in the dictionary are organized in alphabetic order. If you have to find out the same word from the dictionary which does not use any sequence or order to organize the words, how long will you take this time? It may take up to 1 week to find out what that specific word from all the words. If an unorganized dictionary which roughly contains 1 billion words can take a 5 minutes task in a 1 week task, then suppose how nearly 4.3 billion addresses will make a search task complicated if they are unorganized. For easier management and assignment, IP addresses are organized in numeric order and divided in following 5 classes: Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D, and Class E. Each class has a range of valid IP addresses. The value of the first octet determines the class. For example, 0 to 127 determine the Class A IP address range. 128 to 191 determines the Class B IP address range. 192 to 223 determines the Class C IP address range. 224 to 239 determines the Class D IP address range. And the last 240 to 255 determines the class E address range. IP addresses from the first three classes A, B, and C can be used for the host addresses. The other two classes are used for other purposes. Class D for multicast and Class E for experimental purposes. Let's see how the classes were created. As you know, an IP address is the combination of network and host ID. In each IP address, few bits are reserved for network address. The classes were created based on the network size. In Class A, the first 8 bits are reserved respectively for network addresses, which gives you the subnet mask of /8 or 255.0.0.0. In Class B, the first 16 bits are reserved respectively for network addresses, which gives you the subnet mask of /16 or 255.255.0.0. In Class C, the first 24 bits are reserved respectively for network addresses, which gives you the subnet mask of /24 or 255 or 255 or 255.0. For example, for the small number of networks with a large number of hosts, the class A was created. The class C was created for numerous networks with small number of hosts. Let's use an example to find the class of three different IP addresses: 1.2.3.4, 191.200.100.1, 192.168.1.1. To find the class of an IP address, simply pay attention on the first octet. Let's start with 1.2.3.4. If the first value, if the value of the first octet is in the range of 1 to 127, you can say it's a class A IP address. If the first value of the first octet is in the range of 123 to 391, it's a class B IP address. If the value of the first octet is in the range of 192 to 223, it's a class C IP address. That's it for this session. Thank you for watching. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.
Yan ang paborito niyang Chucky.
Are you tired of Googling every other English word when reading? Let's change that. Meet Elia.
Hello everyone. In today's session of CCNA series, I'll discuss about IPv4 address, network, and host portion. Also, we'll discuss about subnet mask. Each network running TCP/IP must have a unique network number, and every machine on it must have a unique IP address. The bytes of IP addresses are further classified into two parts: the network part and the host part. The network part specifies the unique number assigned to your network. It also identifies the class of the network assigned. Host part is the part of the IP address that you assign to each host. It uniquely identifies this machine on your network. Note that for each host on your network, the network part of the address will be same, but the host part must be different. But how do hosts know which portion of 32-bit is network and which is host? That is the job of the subnet mask. In TCP/IP, the parts of the IP address that are used as the network and host addresses are not fixed. So, the network and the host addresses above cannot be determined unless you have more information. This information is supplied in another 32-bit number called a subnet mask. When an IP host is configured, a subnet mask is assigned along with an IP address. Similar to IPv4 address, the subnet mask is represented in dotted decimal format for ease of use. Like the IP address, the subnet mask is 32 bits long. The subnet mask signifies which part of the IP address is network and which part is host. The subnet mask is compared to the IP address from left to right, bit by bit. The ones in the subnet mask represent the network portion and the zeros represent the host portion. Note that the subnet mask does not actually contain the network or host portion of an IP address. It just tells the computers where to look for these portions in a given IPv4 address. Let's take an example to determine the network address and the host address of below IP 192.168.123.132. In this example, the subnet mask is /24, or you can call it as 255.255.255.0. So the subnet mask, if you convert in binary, will be 24 zeros, 24 ones and 8 zeros. Lining up the IP address and the subnet mask together, the network and the host portion of the address can be separated. The first 24 bits, the number of the ones in the subnet mask, are identified as the network address, with the last 8 bits, the number of remaining zeros in the subnet mask, identified as the host address. This gives you the following network address in binary format, and the network address in decimal format will be 192.168.123.0, and the host address in binary format will be, which if we convert to decimal, we will have an host address as 132. So now you know for this, from this example, /24 subnet mask and the network ID is 192.168.123.0 and the host address is 132. That's it for this session. In my next session, I'll discuss about IP address classes. Thank you for watching. Please do like,
Hello. Good afternoon. Am I audible naman po?
Opo, sir.
Okay. Ayan. So, kamusta naman po? Ayan. Okay. So, today we're gonna discuss the part 1 of our final topic. Okay. So, our final topics, as you can see in the screen, is all about IP addressing fundamentals. So, today we're gonna discuss all about part 1 ng ating final exam, the final topic. Then, next meeting will be the part 2 for our final content. Okay? So, sabi natin last time, so nagkaroon tayo ng overview last year. So, before we have the Christmas break, sabi natin, the IP address is unique identifier. Isa siyang identifier o pagkakakilanlan ng isang component within a computer network. Okay? Then, ang IP address is also known as the Internet Protocol. Okay, so pag sinabi naman natin kasi Internet Protocol is a set of rules, di ba? Yung mga galing siya sa mga set of sa mga standards natin. Di ba? Sabi natin, to have a successful data communication, so dapat meron tayong sender, we have the receiver, the message itself, the medium kung saan natin padadaanin yung data, Then especially, we have the protocol. So isa sa mga protocol na kailangan natin for have a successful data communication is the Internet Protocol, also known as the IP. Okay? So sabi natin, IP is just a unique identifier o pagkakakilanlan ng isang component within the network. So pag sinabi natin identifier, it must be a unique. Dapat wala siyang kaparehas o dapat walang katulad yung certain content or data natin. Otherwise, magkakaroon tayo ng conflict o magkakaroon ng kalituan. For example, magtinawag natin Garcia within the classroom. Sinong Garcia? Kung maraming Garcia within the classroom, sinong tatayo? For example, sabi natin, yung name ko is very common, especially apelido, very common, di ba? So, kung may ganun kadaming pangalan o apelido within a same group or within the same location, magkakaroon ng kalituan kung sino ba yung tinatawag. Kaya tinawag natin, sasabi natin, we have unique identifier. For example, kung pare-parehas ang apelido na meron sa isang classroom, so identify mo siya by first name. Kung hindi magkaparehas yung first name natin. Di ba? Kung magkaparehas naman ang pangalan at apelido, hindi si Biwa at si Bito na lang. So, yung sabihin natin, IP address is just a unique identifier. Then, pag sinabi natin IP address, sa pinag-usapan natin dito is all about numbers. Okay? Lahat sila is considered as a number. Sabi nga natin last time, gaano kadaming number ang kaya nyong kabisaduhin? For example, yung mga personal cellphone number or mga personal contact details. Di ba? Without even saving them. Di ba? Para ako, di ba, sabi nga natin, ang kabisado ko lang is yung aking personal numbers. The rest, wala. Di ba? Kung di mo siya na-save or di mo siya nalagyan ng pangalan, makakalimutan mo, hindi mo ma-identify kung sino yun. Di ba? Sabi nga rin natin, kung sumasagot ba kayo ng mga unregistered number, it depends kung may ina-expect kayong delivery or may ina-expect kayong parcel. Yeah, may tendency kayong sagutin. Otherwise, hindi natin sinasagot, di ba, sa dami ng scammer. Diba? Ang ibig sabihin natin ng identifier. Diba? So, para matandaan natin yung certain content, nilalagyan natin yung mga contact number natin ng certain name. Diba? O nilalagyan natin, tinatawag natin alias o AKA. So, ganun din. Sa lahat ng pinapasok nating site or lahat ng pinapasok nating component within the network, lahat sila identify with an IP address. So, for example, dito, we have NS lookup or name server lookup ng www.yahoo.com. You can see server name, and this is the server name, anong location niya, which is me-ycpa.cf.www.906.yahoodns.net. So this is the server name. Ito yung pangalan ng server ng Yahoo with their corresponding IP address or with the corresponding location or address. And then, nilagyan siya ng alias. So ibig sabihin, yung yahoo.com dito, kahit alin dito, pwede niyang gamitin to communicate. Ha? So yung sasabi natin IP address, just indicated by a certain name. O siya yung ginagamit na pagkakilanlan ng bawat component. Okay? As we can see, sabi natin last time, kapag lahat, ang ginagamit kasi natin for data communication, para makapag-connect si PC1 to PC2 or makapag-send ka ng data from the sender to the receiver through the network, kailangan natin ng IP address. Pero, once we have connected on the internet, sabi nga natin, hindi natin ma-determine kung ano or sino ba yung kausap natin. Diba? So, hindi natin ma-identify kung tao, hayop, bagay ba ang kausap natin or hindi. Diba? Pero sabi nga, diba, on the internet, nobody knows you are a dog. Diba yung mga captcha, pwede niya, o may minsan kahit yung mga check if you're not a robot, pwede na rin ma-identify yun ng mga certain tools. Diba? Kasi checker lang naman yun eh. So, pwede ng mga certain content. So, hindi natin malalaman kung sino ba yung nakausap natin on the internet itself. At katulad siya sabi natin kanina, lahat ng connection natin to the internet, ang ginagamit lang natin ay certain name or certain alias. Yan, ito yung nasasabi natin kanina yan. Yahoo.com. Ito yung tinatype natin. Yahoo.com. Di ba? Tapos, type natin yung certain alias ng mga certain component. Yan, facebook.com. Pero sa likod ng certain alias or name na yan, they have corresponding IP address. Katulad nga sinabi natin last time, gaano kadami yung IP address na dyan yung kaya mong kabisaduhin? Unless, lalagay mo yan sa notepad o gagawa ka ng certain notes para ma-save mo lang yung bawat site na pinapasok mo. Siguro, we can save 1, 2, matatandaan natin yung certain number niya, pero sa sobrang dami na pinapasok yung site, hindi natin sure, di ba? Hindi mo sure kung makakabisado mo lahat, di ba? On the internet, you are nothing but an IP address. Kung makipag-communicate, kung nakipag-usap ka, ang nakipag-usap sa iyo, hindi naman ikaw yung IP address mo mismo. Ha? So kung wala kang IP address, hindi ka makapag-send ng data to a certain point to another. Parang ganun lang din. Pag wala ka internet, hindi ka identity o hindi ka identified connected within the network. So hindi ka pwede makapag-send ng data. Diba pag nagagawa tayo, bawa, nag-share it tayo, kailangan we are in the same network. Diba? Screen mirroring, ganun din. Kailangan we are on the same network. Hotspot within the same network. Otherwise, hindi kayo magkakaroon ng communication. Ha? Ang sabi natin, nasa era na rin tayo ng tinatawag natin Internet of Everything na halos lahat is pwede mo nang i-connect to the internet itself. Pero ngayon, nasa ano pa tayo? IoT. Internet of Things. Yung mga bagay pa lamang na sa tingin nyo na pwede i-connect to the internet. Kasi pag sinabi natin Internet of Everything, halos lahat na is pwedeng ma-connect to the internet. At yun ang pinakita sa inyo. Last time, smart home, di ba, na halos lahat is being controlled by the internet itself. Yeah. So ngayon, i-elaborate natin, ano nga ba yung IP address? Ano ba yung tinatawag natin na IP address? Okay? So sabi dito, an IP address or the Internet Protocol address is the logical address of a network interface. When we say logical address, is ito yung mga klase na identity or pagkakakilanlan na pwedeng mabago, accidentally or hindi. Kaya tawag siya logical. Pwede siya mabago anytime. Pwede siya baguhin manually or pwede siyang baguhin automatically. Kasi may tinatawag tayo katulad nito ay type ipconfig/all, that is ipconfiguration/all. Ang command na to is para ma-check natin lahat ng details within the network or lahat ng details in connected or in connection with IP address. So makita dito, we have Windows IP configuration, lahat ng details ng laptop ko, this one. Ito naman sa wireless LAN. Then I have the wireless LAN 2. This is for the wireless LAN Wi-Fi. Ayan, yung Wi-Fi component. And nakikita nyo, meron siyang physical address. The physical address also known as the MAC address. Itong physical address na to, they're embedded. Sabihin, they're nakatatak na o nakalagay na mismo sa devices mo, sa internet port mo, sa LAN card mo. Nandyan na yan. Hindi mo siya pwedeng mabago. Kahit patayin mo yung unit mo, restart mo po ulit. Hindi mababago. So that is physical. So this is the logical, this one IPv4 or the IP address. So this is the logical address. Meaning ito, pwede mabago yan. Depende kung anong available. Pwede mo baguhin niya manually or you can figure it automatically. Yan. Kaya tinawag siyang logical. Pwede siyang mabago. Sabi dito, the IP address is unique identified network devices on the network. Yan sabi natin kanina. The IP address must be unique. So, dapat wala siyang katulad o dapat wala siyang kaparehat. Kung hindi, magkakaroon ng okay. So, the IP address can be private or can be used on LAN or public or can be used on WAN. Okay? So, IP address, may mga allotment tayo provided for the private network and we are sa mga allotment tayo for a public network, which is later makikita niyo yan. Okay? This sabi natin, IP address can be determined statically assigned by a computer, by an administrator, or dynamically. Sabihin ng statically, tayo mag-input ng certain IP address. Tayo magbibigay ng certain IP address. Kaya sabi natin kanina, di ba? The IP address is a logical address, which means pwede siyang ma-configured or pwede siyang babago. Pwede siyang palitan. Okay? Yeah, so you can configure it manually or you can configure it dynamically or configure siya automatically. Yeah, so depende na lang sa availability ng component natin. Tignan, may nag-join. At yung sinasabi ko na manually, which is tayo mag-input. Yan, tayo mag-input ng certain address. Yan. So that is static. Pag sinabi natin dynamically, ang magko-configure dyan, ang magbibigay niya mismo yung server network natin. Static, that is manual. You can figure your IP address manually. Pag sinabi natin dynamic, yung certain server provided for the network ang magbibigay ng address sa atin. So parang ito sa laptop ko, ayan. So this is a dynamical. Ang nagbigay nito syempre yung Wi-Fi na natin o yung network connection natin. And so IP address is unique. So dapat wala siyang katulad and pwede mo siya i-configure automatically and manually. Then later on, papakita natin yung ranges both for the private and public network. Next. So what is an IP address continuations? IP address consists of 4 bytes or 32 bits. And each byte of IP address is known as octet. Octet can take any value between 0 to 255, but various rules exist for ensuring IP address are valid. In short, so IP address natin, ang tawag doon ay dotted decimal system. So we have the IP address, ang tawag sa kanya ay dotted decimal system. When we say dotted decimal system, we have A, dot B, dot C, and dot D. So ang tawag dyan, dotted decimal system. So that is dotted decimal system. And DDS. Okay, so that is dotted decimal system. So ang basa dyan, A, dot B, dot C, dot D. Sir, bakit hanggang D lang? So based kasi sa description, IP address is consists of 4 bytes or 32 bits. Yan. So 4 lang yan. So 32 kasi this is consists of 8 bits. Consists of 8, 8, and 8. So 8 times 4, this is equivalent to 32 bits. 32 bits, that is 32 binary digits. Binary digits of 0 and 1. Okay, so 32 bits of binary digits of 0 and 1. Kaya ang tawag sa bawat portion na to, ang tawag dyan ay octet. Octet meaning 8. Okay, sir, bakit 8? Bakit 8 lang po ang pwede natin gamitin? So bakit 8 ang pwede natin gamitin? Based sa description natin or based on the standard provided for the IP address, the maximum number provided for the IP address or the maximum number can be used on IP address is up to 255 bits or 255 only. So sa IP address daw natin or yung based on the standard provided for the addressing, ang maximum number provided or maximum decimal number na pwede natin gamitin is from 0 to 255 only. So yan lamang ang pwede natin gamitin. So that will be the maximum number. So pag nagkaroon tayo ng conversion, katulad ng ay mga conversion based dun sa nakita natin kanina, okay, based dun sa description, based on the scenario provided, octets can be any value between 0 to 155. But various rules exist for ensuring IP valid. So ang maximum number na pwede natin gamitin is up to 255 only. So saan ang galing 255 na yan? So at bakit siya naging 8? Paano siya naging octet? So by ruling kasi tayo for the conversion, may tinatawag tayong power of 2. For the binary, we have the power of 2, power of 8 for for octal, and power of 16 for hexadecimal. So the conversion between the binary binary to decimal, decimal binary, ginagamit natin is power of 2. Okay, so power of 2, so that is 2 raised to 0, 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2, so on and so forth. Or mas simple, on layman's term, that is 1, 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 2, 4, 4 plus 4, 8, 8 plus 8, 16, 16 plus 16, 32, 32 plus 32, 64, and 64 plus 64, 1, 2, 8. 1 to 8 plus 1 to 8, that is 2, 5, 6, diba? 2, 5, 6 plus 2, 5, 6, 12, so on and so forth. Kaya siya naging 8. Pag binilang natin to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hanggang 1 to 8. Pag inad natin, that's equivalent to 255. So pag inad natin lahat yan, that's equivalent to 255. Kaya hanggang 255 lang ang number natin, kaya din tinawag siyang octet, 8. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's equivalent to 255. So for example, if you want to convert decimal to binary and binary to decimal, you can use the power of 2 or you can use the 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, and 64. So napakadali naman gamitin ng ating power of 2. For example, kailangan natin i-convert ang decimal number na 32 to binary. So using the power of 8 na 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, napakasimple lang ng ruling natin. Kapag ginamit yung number 1, kapag hindi nagamit yung number 0. Kailangan ko 34. Si 1 to 8 ba? Pwede. Sobra kasi 34 lang tayo. So that is 0. 64 ba? Pwede. Hindi pa rin pwede. That is laki. So 32, 34 pwedeng gamitin. So pwede. So flat mo lang 1. 34. So 32 plus 16. Sobra kasi 14. So nagawin ng 0. So 32 plus 8, 40. Kailangan lang natin 34. Sobra 0. 32 plus 4, 36. Ay kailangan lang natin 34. So 0. So 32 plus 2, 34. So pwede si 2. So nagamit 1. So 32 plus 2, 34. Plus 1 ba? 34 hindi na. So that is 0. So ganun lang kadali. Kapag gagamitin yung number, pa-plot natin 1. Kapag hindi nagamit yung number, pa-plot nyo lang 0. Yan. So halimbawa, well, 138. Ayan, 138. 138 na decimal. So 138, 128 magagamit o pwede. Yan, so plot natin 1. 128 sa 64, pag inad natin, makukuha ba si 138? 128 plus 64 is 192, so hindi pwede. 0. Pag pinagsama ba 128 saka 32, makukuha si 38, hindi rin pwede, sobra. That is 140, so this is 0. Pag si 128 ba, tsaka si 16, pag pinagsama, makukuha si 138, hindi rin pwede, sobra. That is 30, 32, 42, diba? Eh, 128 plus 8. So, pwede ba? 136. O, i-plot lang natin 1. Diba? 128 plus 8, 136 plus 4, 140. Sobra. Di-plot mo 0. 128 plus 8. 136 plus 2, 138. Di-plot mo 1. And this is 0. So, ganyan lang. Pag ginagamit natin yung power of 2. Diba? Pag sa tas ganun lang din, and vice versa, pag binary to decimal, pa-plot nyo lang power of 2. Kapag 1, nagamit yung number, kapag 0, hindi. Tapos ipa-plot lang natin o i-add lang natin lahat ng 1. So, ganyan lang yung basic conversion. Pero sabi ko nga, wala tayong conversion na gagamitin natin. Wala tayong conversion na gagamitin dito. More on the straight method. Pag sinabi straight method, walang basic rule lang tayo. Walang conversion. Walang masyadong problem solving na magaganap using a straight method. Okay, so pinakita lang natin bakit siya naging octet o bakit hanggang 255 lamang ang pwede natin gamitin. Then yung IP address natin, lahat sila, yung octet natin kanina, lahat sila pwede mag-ranges o papalit-palit ng 0 hanggang 255. Yan. Itong A.B.C, pwede silang magamit lahat from 0 to 255. Okay? Yan, example, 192.168.213, 200 by 5.6.7, 1.2.3.4, 10.224.223.221. So that is the proper reading for the IP address. That is dot. Hindi 1.2.3.4, that is dot. Kaya tawag dyan ay dotted decimal system. 192.168.100.4. Okay? So that is the IP address. Okay. So IP address ranges natin is 0 to 155. Kaya naging octet ang tawag doon kasi 8 bits. So 8 times 4, that is 32 bits. So IP address is consists of 32 bits. Ngayon, yung IP address naman natin, nahati siya sa dalawang part. Ang unang part is indicated by a network address. When we say network address, naka-indicate kung saan group. Okay? Kung saan group o kung saan company belong yung certain component. Okay? Kung anong company o group ang pinag-uusapan natin noon ay network. Pag sinabi naman natin host address, so host address indicated for the client PC or indicated for the user PC. Yun ibig sabihin ng host address. So network, so IP address yan na hati sa dalawang part. Isang part for the network at isang part for the host. For example, ayan. Yung ito nakita natin, 8-bit, 8-bit, 8-bit. Yung isang part binigay sa network and the other part ay nabigay sa host. Isa-isang IP address lang yon, hinati siya sa dalawang part. Isang part for the network at isang part for the host. Dito ang malalaman natin kung paano hatian niya based on the IP classes or based doon sa group kung saan tayo belong. So dito maano natin yan yung mga classes of IP address. So isang certain IP address such as 10.1.1.1 and 112.32.201.11 is hinati siya sa dalawang part. The orange part indicated for the network and the yellow part indicated for the network and the host indicated by orange color. So isang IP address lang yan pero hinati sa dalawang portions. Dito malalaman natin kung paano yung hatian na yan based on the classes. Based dun sa IP classes natin. Okay? So sa IP summary natin, so ang basa dyan ay dotted decimal system. A.B.C.D. Then yung ang ating IP address is consists of 32 bits and each bit is divided by 4 octets. Octet with 8. So dahil 8 siya, ang maximum number na pwedeng gamitin ng bawat octet na yon ay 255. Hanggang 255 octet ang pwede natin gamitin. So sa binary yan, ang ginagamit natin ay power of 2, kaya nakuha yung 255 using 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, and 128. So pag in-add natin sila, that's equivalent to 255. Okay, so that is the summary for address. Okay. So tatandaan, IP address must be unique. So kung magsiset kayo ng IP address to a certain network, so dapat wala siyang katulad. Otherwise, magkakaroon ka ng conflict. Parang sa parehong pangalan o apelyido within the same class. So ngayon, yung IP address natin nahati siya sa dalawang part, network and the host address. Pag sinabi natin network, what group they are belong? Network means group. Host indicated for the client or the user PC. Sir, paano natin malalaman ang hatian? Kung saan mapupunta yung network, saan mapupunta yung host, doon papasok yung ating different classes of IP address. We have class A, class B, class C, class D, and class E. So magkakaiba tayo ng classes, doon natin malalaman kanino o saan mapupunta yung network at saan mapupunta yung host. Tatandaan, lahat ng gagamitin natin instruction for today's lecture is all about direct method. Pag sinabing direct method, walang conversion, walang computation, direct method. Okay? Kaya isa-isayin natin yung different classes na yan para mag-determine natin kung kanino o saan mapupunta si network o paano natin makukuha si network at paano natin makukuha si host. Okay. First one, we have class A. Class A, the first bits are used to represent the network address. And the remaining bits are used to represent the client address. We only use if we use only class A IP address. So magkakaroon lang tayo ng maximum number of 255 networks. Magkakaroon lang tayo ng 255 groups. Pero in each group or each network, sa isang network, sabi dyan, maximum number of hosts o maximum number of PC in one group. Parang the both is syncing group result in 16,777,155 hosts. Kada isang group or kada isang network, meron siyang 16 million PC or 16 million hosts per group. Kung meron kang 255 group na 16 million, ilang yon to infinity and beyond. Napakadami. So, ang class A, ginagamit siya for wide area network or WAN. Kasi ginagamit siya for internet. So, mas marami kasi. Kasi 16 million, excuse me. So, parang ganyan, 16,077,165. Times mo yan sa 255. So, ilang PC yan? 4,278,164,325 PC ang pwede natin i-connect worldwide. So that is class A. So ginagamit siya for wide area network. So paano natin malalaman ang hatian for class A? Ang hatian natin dito, so kailangan nyo lang tandaan, so meron tayong dotted decimal system. Diba? So we have A, dot B, dot C, dot D. Saan natin malalaman lagi? O saan natin malalaman kung class A siya, class B, or class C? Tatandaan nyo yung starting number. So this is the starting number. So sa part na yan, that will be our starting number. So dyan yung ma-determine kung ano man classes siya belong. Kung class A, class B, or class C. Kung ang starting number natin, starting number. Ang starting numbers, lagi ang starting number natin nasa 8. Nasa A, octet tayo. A.B.C.D. So lagi yung titignan yung starting number. If the starting number, malalaman yung class A yung address nyo, malalaman nyo ngayon na class A ang address nyo kapag ang address nyo ay nagsisimula sa 1 hanggang 126. Halimbawa ito, 10, that 200, that 100, that 45. Halimbawa ito, 128. 120, I mean that 255, that 0, that 255, ang titignan nyo lamang lagi yung unahang number. So, laging titignan nyo is yung unahan na number. Wala kayong pakialam dun sa susunod na number. Ang lagi yung titignan, yung first octet. Yung simula. Yung sasabi natin, lagi ang starting number natin ay yung kay A. Okay? Kung ang starting number mo ay from 1 to 126, matik na class A siya. So, matik that become class A. Okay? Malaman nyo na class A siya agad. So, ngayon, ang hatian natin ngayon, sabi dito, ang magiging hatihan, yung first 8 bits are used to represent the network and the remaining 24 are used for the client. So, mag-hatihan natin for class A, yung first niya, itong laging unahan na to will be the network and the remaining will be for the host. So, ganyan ang hatian natin. For class A, laging titignan yung start number o yung starting number. Yung starting number natin, yung lagi nasa unahan. So, malalaman nyo na class A siya from 1 to 126 ang simula. Yan. Then, ang magiging hatian, yung unang octet o yung unang number will be for the network and the remaining for the host. So, yun, tatandaan nyo. Pag class A, 1 to 126 ang hatian, yung unang octet for the network and the remaining for the host. Tandaan nyo yan kasi that will be part of the exam kung paano natin nahatiin. So later on, may sample tayo. So that is class A. Pag class B naman, 16 bits are used to represent the network address and the remaining bits are represent for the client. If we use only class B IP address, the maximum number of networks ay 65,535 networks. And each network, we can have 65,535 hosts. So, pag kinumpit natin yan, all, so madami pa rin. 65,535 network ko times mo siya sa 65,535 PC. Ganun pa rin. So, 4 billion. So, hinati lang siya per group. So, ngayon, sir, sir, paano natin malalaman kung class B siya? So, malalaman nyo naman na class B network tayo. So, pag class A, ang starting number mo ay 1 to 126. Yung malalaman mo naman na class B ka, so pag class B, yan. So, for class B naman tayo, so for class B network, yan, so class B, yan. Class B network natin, if the starting number ranges from 128 to 191, it become class B. Meaning, kung IP address mo nagsisimula sa 130.254.100.1 or 190.190.50.253.110. Yan. So basta lagi, tatandaan lagi yung starting number kung saan nagsisimula. Yung unang number, yun ang i-determine nyo kung anong klase siya. Kung IP address mo nagsisimula sa 128 to 191, automatically class. Wala tayong pakialam sa succeeding number. Basta lagi nang titignan yung unang number kung anong klase siya. Kung magiging class A or class. Then ngayon, ang hatian naman natin sa class B, kung saan mapupunta yung network address, saan mapupunta yung host, is dalawa. Hati lang sa dalawa. Yung first two octet, yung 130.254, yung 190, tsaka 50, mapupunta sa network address. Yan, network address. And yung 100.1, yung 253.10, 110 will become the host address. So, ganyan ang hatian. Lagi niyong titignan yung first number kung saan region sila papasok. Kung papasok sila sa class A or papasok sila sa class B. So sa class A, basta ang starting number mo ay 1 to 126, that is class A. Kapag ang unang number mo nagsisimula sa 128 to 191, that is class B. Ang hatian for the class A, yung unang octet sa network and the remaining for the host. Pag sinabi natin octet, yung A.B.C.T. Sa class A, ang octet A, network, and octet B, C, and D for the host. For class B naman, octet A and octet B for the network, octet C and D is for the host. Okay. Yeah. Class C. So for class C naman, the first 24 bits are used to represent the network address. The remaining 8 bits are used for the client address. So dito sa class C IP address, the maximum number of network for class C, that is class C. Yan. The maximum number of network for class C ay 16,777,115 networks. And each network we can have 255. Parang ganito naman kasi paano nakukuha yung mga host na yan. Paano natin nakukuha yung mga number na yan? Bawa, ito. For example, ang number natin ay 1.1.1.1. Ito, hanggang 255 yan. So, pag nag-255 to, ito naman, yung 1 magiging 2. Tapos hanggang 255 yan. Tapos ito, pag nag-255 naman, dito magiging 2 and so on and so forth. Kaya nakukuha yung mga ranges na yon. Okay? Kaya nakuha yung mga 16 million number of component natin. Okay? Nagpapalit yung number kasi. Okay? Ngayon, sir, paano natin malalaman kung class C network tayo? So, malalaman mo na ngayon ang class C network natin, same pa rin based on the ranges. For class A, 1 to 126. Class B, 128 to 191. Ang class C natin, so the class C address, yan. So, class C address tayo. So, class C address. Kapag ang starting number mo ay nagsisimula sa 192, 192, 192 hanggang 223, that is class C. For example, makikita. For example, 192.192.168.10.253. Ayan, bawa 200.10.127, 128. Ayan, that's 10 ulit. Ayan. Yeah, so class C, basta ang starting number nyo ay 1922223, class C tayo. Basta starting number. Yan. So class A, ang starting number nyo 1 to 126, class B 1 to 8 to 191, and class C ay 1922223. So kung sa class A ang hatian natin, si octet A is for the network. Sa class B, si octet A and B is for the network. Sa class C, si 192, si 168 at si 10, that will be the network. And 200, 10, and 128, that will be the network address. In 253 and 10, that will be the host address. So tatandaan, pag sinabi nating network address, kung saan belong. Kung saan siya network belong, and the host address indicated for the client or the user is. Okay? So yan po. Class A, 1 to 126. Class B, 128 to 191. Class C, to 192 to 223. So ganyan ang hatian natin. Class A, octet A for the network. Class B, octet A and B. So tatandaan nyo lang, pag class A, octet A. For class B hanggang octet B. For class C hanggang octet C ang mapupunta for the network. Yun ba? Class A, octet A ang network. Class B, A and B ang network. Class C, A, B, and C. May yun man din tandaan ka. Kung anong klase siya, hanggang doon yung octet. Basta tatandaan nyo lang yung starting number. Yun ang pagbabasihan natin. Para malaman nyo kung anong IP classes siya. Okay? So nasusundan po ba tayo doon based doon sa ranges natin? Kasi kailangan nyo yan para sa exam natin. Okay? May question po ba?
None so far po.
Okay. Yeah. So the usage of IP address classes within the limited address string. So yung IP address natin, depende yung kung saan mo siya gagamitin. Ha? So the IP address are limited. Limited siya po. Pero kahit saan mo lang pwedeng yun. The number of network address is required is vary from organization to other. No. Iba yung number of network for class A, iba yung number of network for class B and class C. It depends kung saan mo siya gagamitin. Okay? Yan. So ito yung kanina. So the class A, first 8 bits are used to represent the network address. The remaining is to 24 bits. So 16 million hosts on each 127. Ayan, no? So lagi ang nagbabago, ang first range natin 1 to 126 and the rest pwede maging 0 to 255. Yung first part will be for the network and the third part will be for the host. Ayan, mapapansin nyo, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ang network niya is 1. 50, so 50, 126, 126. So lagi yung first natin, that will be the network. Ayan. Maximum number per class A, 255. Maximum host per network, 16 million. Ayan. For class B, ayan. So class B, ang range natin, first octet pa rin tayo. So starting number pa rin lagi ang basihan natin. Ang basihan pa rin natin lagi for the ranges is the first number, 128 to 191. Ayan. So the rest is base 0 to 55 pa rin. Tapos hatian natin for class B, that A dot B will be the network, C dot D will be for the host. So number of network 65,000. Number of hosts per network 65,000. So per class C, ayan. So class C ang starting octet natin 192 to 223. Ang hatian natin A dot B dot C for the host, dot D for the network I mean, and C D is for the host. Ito yun. Ito lang tatandaan nyo ha. Itong mga ranges na yan. Yung mga starting value. So ito yung laging indicated natin. Ito yung laging yung tatandaan yung first octet. Kung saan nagsisimula yung number nyo, yun yung pagbabasihan nyo for the classes. Yan, si class D, ginagamit lamang sa for multicasting. So, hindi siya ginagamit for distribution. So, yan. So, ang ranges for class D, 224 to 339. Class E, ginagamit lamang siya for a research. So, ginagamit lamang siya for research purposes. So, in summary natin, ito naman lang. Yan. So, for IP class, ito lang din naman yan. So, IP classes natin, ang ranges natin, 1 to 126 actually. Ang 127 siya ginagamit lang siya for loopback or testing kung may babalik. Ang hatian, network, host, host, host. So, isang si A ay for the network, si .B, .C, .D for the host. So, for class B, ang ranges natin, 128 to 191. Ang hatian, A and B for the network, C and D is for the host. Then class C is 192.2.2.3. Ang starting number lagi pababasihan yung starting number lamang para malaman nyo kung class A, class B, class C. And hatian natin, A.B.C is for the network, .D is for the host. Then, si class D na 224-339 reserved for multicast or madamihan ng pagbabato ng data. And class E na 240 to 255 reserved for experimental use for research. Ayan, so ginagamit lang sila for research. So yan yung mga classes of IP address. Okay? So ngayon, let's have mga summary na naman yung mga content. Ayan. So private IP address, ito yung pwede natin ibigay per class. So pag sinabi natin private, panglan lang yan. So for class A, ang ranges mo from 10.0.0 to 255. Class B, ang ranges natin 172.16 hanggang 255. Class C, 192.168 hanggang. Private IP address that is for LAN. LAN. Pag sinabi natin private, that is LAN. Pag sinabi natin public, that is WAN. So, yan yung mga ranges. Then we have the subnet mask. So, subnet mask, just the alternative para malaman nyo kung anong klase ng IP address ang ibibigay mo. Pag binigay sa iyo na subnet mask ay 255.0.0, that is class A. Pag binigay sa iyo subnet mask 255.255.0.0, class B yun. Kapag 255.255.255.0, that is class C. Okay, so yun ang pagbabasihan natin. So pag sinabing default subnet mask, just simply the alternative. So pag binigay sa inyo ito, itong mga subnet mask, malaman nyo kung anong klase na IP address ang ibibigay sa inyo. Pero by default naman yan, katulad nito, ayan. So 192, nabasa dito 192, o bibigay sa iyo 255. So parang ganito. Ayan, so bawa 192.168.0.10. Pag kinik mo yan dito, yun, bibigay sa iyo automatically 255. Kasi yun yung nabasa ng network mo. Ayan, 255 plus C. So, ang pinagbabasihan niya pa rin, yung first octet. Di ba? Halimbawa, lagay ko 100.10.254.100. Ang bibigay sa iyo, pag binasa pa rin yung first octet, ang bibigay, class A. Ayan. Class A sa iyo. So, ang pinagbabasihan, yung first octet. O, lagay natin, 128. Ayan, so bibigay sa iyo class B255. So pag sinabi natin subnet mask, the alternative lamang yon ng mga IP address. Okay? So now, so magkaroon tayo ng, ito na yung part na exam natin. The instruction, napakasimple lang po na instruction. Basahin mabuti yung instruction. Circle the network address. So circle, so bilugan daw yung network portion. Kung bibigyan kayo ng IP address, so for example, bibigyan kayo ng IP address. .177.100.18.4. Sabi, circle the network portion. Circle the network portion. Sabi natin, class A ka, kapag IP address mo nagsisimula sa 1 to 126. Class B naman, kapag nagsisimula ang IP address mo sa 128 to 191. Class C ka kapag IP address mo nagsisimula sa 192 to 223. Ayan. So IP address natin ay 177.100.18.4. Sa alin daw ang mapupunta para lamang sa network address? So bibilugan lang daw natin yung network address. Ano ba IP address natin? 177.100.18.4. So, saan nagsisimula yung IP address natin? Anong class? Anong IP address classes siya? Class A, Class B, or Class C? So, lagi pagbabasihan nyo lang what is the first IP address. So, doon nyo malalaman kung Class A siya, Class B, or Class C. So, 177 siya, saan siya pasok? Sa Class B. So, Class B. So, gagawin nyo lang, so bibilugan nyo lang yung para sa network portion. So, ang network portion natin for Class B, ang sabi natin, pag Class B, so pag Class B siya, bibilugan nyo hanggang saan? Hanggang sa B. Diba? This is A, that B, that C, that D. O, sabi natin kung anong classes siya, hanggang doon mo bibilugan. Bibilugan natin hanggang so, yun, nasagot mo. May sagot ka na sa exam. Ganyan lang, exam nyo. Part 1. Bibilugan nyo lang yung para sa network, bibilugan nyo lang yung para sa host. So, another one. 117.89.56 o .45. Anong IP classes siya? Tapos ano yung bibilugan natin? So, the IP address is Class A. So, tama, Class A. So, bibilugan lang natin ay C117. So, Class A. So, bibilugan nyo lang para sa network ay C117. Bilugan lang. May 2 points ka na agad sa exam. So, bibilugan mo lang kung anong classes siya. Alamin nyo lang kung anong IP classes. Then, bibilugan nyo yung para sa network. So, kailangan nyo, huwag kayong mag-alala, open, ano naman to, open formula naman tayo. At hindi siya open formula, open index lang. Basta as long as nasa index naman yung sagot nyo, ay sagot, yung mga formula, yun lang yung pwedeng gamitin natin for the exam. Index card. Halimbawa, ito, ilalagay nyo sa index card, itong mga ranges na to, pwede na yan. Then, yung mga formula na gagamitin natin sa part 2, next meeting will be included also. Actually, ginagamit lang natin is straight method. So, wala namang computation na gagamitin, more on the straight method. Okay. So, next. So, encircle the network portion of this address, 199.155.77.56. So, ano daw yung bibilugan natin? So, titignan nyo lang yung starting number. Pag nalaman nyo yung starting number, hanggang doon yung bibilugan. Diba? So, ang ranges natin, 199.155.77.56. Diba? So, pag ganyan, so that is class C. Diba? 192. So, pag class C, anong bibilugan natin? Hanggang C. Diba? So, A, dot B, dot C, dot C. Yan. So, yan lang. So, nakuha na natin yung network portions. So, naintindihan po ba? So, encircle the network portion. So, para makuha nyo yung network portion, alamin nyo kung ano yung ranges ng IP address. Okay? Siyempre, kapag may network, encircle naman the host. Host naman. So, ano naman i-encircle natin kapag host? Yan. So, kapag host naman, syempre, bibilugan nyo lang yung para sa host address. So, kung meron kayong IP address, may IP address kayo na 10.15.123.15. Ano naman daw po yung mapupunta para sa host? Kung IP address natin ay Ano naman daw po ang mapupunta sa host? Kung may IP address kayo na 198.127.87.117, ano naman daw po ang mapupunta para sa host? So 10.15.23.50, ano daw po ay mapupunta sa host? 198.127.87.177, ano naman daw po ang mapupunta sa host? Sabi, circle. So based dun sa ranges natin, sino yung mapupunta sa host for that certain address? So, titignan nyo pa rin lagi yung first octet para malaman nyo kung anong ranges natin. Diba? So, ganun lang. So, 10 is class A. So, pag class A siya, itong 15, kung dalawa na to, will be the host. Yun lang. Bibilog kami yung host. Kung kanina, kapag magbibilog tayo for the network, ang bilog ng network, lahat nasa kaliwa. Pag magbibilog tayo for the host, ang host ay nasa kanan. So 128.127.87.177. So what will be the host? So 177 is the host. Yan. So yung bilogan lang natin is 177. Yan lang. So network, ang bilog nasa kaliwa. Ang host nasa kanan. So kailangan nyo lang tandaan yung mga ranges natin para ma-determine nyo kung alin yung mapupunta sa network at kung ano yung mapupunta sa host. Yan. So, kailangan nyo lang determine kung anong classes siya. Ayan. So, pag network, pag class A, 10. Siniro ko na lang muna para ibig sabihin, ang sinelet natin, class A is 10. So, class B, ayan, ang nakaselect is 120 at 63. At dito naman, ang host, ayan, 2 at 11. Ayan. Okay? Yan yung para sa pag-identify ng network. O, yun ang meron ka ng test 1, encircle the network portion, tsaka encircle the host. So, kailangan mo mag-determine, so what will be the content natin. Palaba daw, palaba. Washing ka ba? Okay, so may question po ba dyan sa part na yan? Sa class A, class B, class C. Now, may question po ba? Before we proceed to test 2. So, test 2, ano pa rin to? Straight method pa rin tayo. So, wala tayong gagamitin na computations. So, dito naman, hanapin natin yung network address and host address. Hahanapin natin yung network and host address. So, instruction sa paghahanap, using the IP address and subnet mask shown, write out the network address. Write out. Ibig sabihin, hanapin natin. So, paano natin nahanapin yung network address? So, straight method tayo. So, straight method tayo. So, sabi, the instruction, using the IP address and subnet mask shown, write the network address. So, pag sinabing, kapag may subnet mask, hindi nyo bibilugan. Pag nakalagay circle, yung instruction kanina circle, di ba? So, pag sinabing circle, bibilugan nyo yung network, bibilugan nyo for the host. Ito naman, using the IP subnet mask, computation to, pero hindi naman tayo magko-compute. Straight method lang tayo. So, for example, meron akong IP address na 188. May IP address ako na 188.10.18.2. Tapos subnet mask 255.255.0.0. So what would be the network address? So what is NA or network address? So, hinahanap natin yung network address. So, what will be the network address? So, kailangan natin ay network address. Network add. State method. Sabi state method, walang computation, direct agad sagot makukuha nyo. So, tatandaan, kapag hinahanap natin ay network address ang hinahanap using the IP address subnet na shown, write out the network address. Ano daw yung network address natin? Kapag hinahanap natin ay network address, kapag ang subnet mask mo, yung nasa baba ay 255, kapag nasa baba ay 255, just simply copy the value above. Kung 255 ang subnet mask mo, hinahanap ay network address. Kung 255, copy lang. So that is 183. Next, 255 tapos 10. So 255 siya, kapag hinahanap ay network address 255, just simply copy the value above. And 10. Yan. Then kapag network address ang hinahanap, at 0 ang subnet mask mo, automatically 0. Kapag network address ang hinahanap at ang subnet mask mo ay 0, automatically it becomes 0. That is straight method. Kapag subnet mask mo ay 255 at hinahanap ay network address, just simply copy the value above. Kapag subnet mask mo ay 0 at hinahanap ay network address, so it becomes 0. Sige, sample pa uli para matandaan. So meron akong 200.120.135.15. Subnet mask niya ay 255. That 255. That 255. That 0. What will be the network address? So what will be the network address? So ang ruling natin kapag network address ang hinahanap, kapag ang subnet mask ng network address mo ay 255, simply copy the value above. So 255 yan, so it's become 200. Ito naman 255, simply copy the value above. 255, so that is 120. Ito 255. 255 pa rin. So that is 135. At hinanap natin subnet mask 0. Tapos network address siya. So it become 0. Yan na. So meron ka ng network address. So pag hinahanap ay network address, kapag 255 ang subnet mask mo, just simply copy the value above. Kapag 0 ang subnet mask mo at hinahanap ay network address, automatically it becomes 0. 127, 125, that 200, that 151. Subnet mask niya ay 255, that 0, that 0, that 0. What is the network address? Now, anong network address naman yan? So tatandaan, kapag hinahanap natin ay network address, kapag ang subnet mask ng network address mo ay 255, just simply copy the value above. Kapag 0, 0. So ano ngayon ang subnet mask? Ano naman daw ngayon ang network address? So the network address ay 27. That's 0, that's 0, that's 0. So ang tawag dyan ay straight method. Straight to the point. Ang ruling lang natin sa network address, kapag hinahanap ay network address, ang subnet mask mo ay 255, just simply copy the value above. Kapag 0, 0. So that is finding the network address. Use the IP address and subnet must shown. Write out the host address. Network address ay. So, nag-gets po ba yon? Nasundan naman po ba yung ating finding the network address? No? Ganun lang kasimple, ganun lang kadali ang pag-exam natin. Ito actually, ganyan yung magiging exam nyo. Yan na yon. And lastly is the instruction naman. Sabi sa instruction, using the IP address and subnet mask shown, write out the host address. Ito naman, pag hinahanap naman natin ay host address is simply opposite ng network address. For example, 188.10.18.2. Ito naman 255.255.0.0. Yan. So what is the host address? So host address naman ang hinahanap natin. So kanina, hinanap natin ay network address sa network address. So ang ruling natin sa network address, kapag 255 ang subnet mask natin, so simply copy the value above. Kaya naging 27. Kapag 0 ang subnet mask mo, hinanap natin network address, by default 0. So ngayon, binahanap natin ay host address. Kapag host address naman, opposite naman tayo. Opposite lang yan. Opposite. Pag host address, opposite naman tayo. Kapag hinahanap ay host address at ang subnet mask mo ay 255, kung ang subnet mask mo naman ay 255 at host address tayo, it becomes 0. Baligtad naman. So kanina, hinahanap natin network address. Kapag network address ang hinahanap, subnet mask mo ay 255, simply copy the value above. Pero, kapag hinahanap mo ay host address, so host address tayo, kapag 255, ang subnet mask mo, it becomes 0. So, it becomes 0. That. So, this is 255, hinahanap natin host, this is 0. So, ngayon naman, kapag hinahanap natin host address, kapag 0 naman ang host, kapag 0 naman ang subnet mask mo, at hinahanap mo yung host address, so just simply copy the value above. So, opposite lang. Pag sa network address, pag hinahanap ay network address, kapag 0, 0 agad. Pag sa host address naman, kapag 255, 0 naman agad. Okay, so opposite lang. So magkabaliktad lang yung content natin. Magkabaliktaran lang. Okay? Ito. So 10.10.48 o .80. So ito ay 255.255.0. So what is the host address? So anong host address natin? So ito ay opposite lamang. Kapag 255, pag host address, kapag 255, 0, 0. Kapag 0, copy the value above. Diba? Kapag network address, kapag 255, copy the network above. Kapag 0, 0. Pag network address. So pag host, simply opposite lamang. So kapag host address, kapag 255 sa host address, so 0. That's 0. 255, that is 0. Then 80 and 0, it becomes 80. Yan. Yeah, so 0, that 0, that 0, that 80. So, yan. So, ganun lang po kadali ang part 1 ng exam natin. Okay? So, ulitin natin, kapag hinahanap natin ay network address, if we, yan. So, sabi dito, using the IP address and the subnet man shown, write out the network address. So pag network address, kapag subnet mask mo ay 255, sa simply copy the value above. So 255, 27, kaya naging 27. Kapag 0, ang subnet mask mo, hinahanap mo ay network address, automatically 0. Ito, network add, 255, 255, 255.0. Kaya naging 200.120.125.0. Ito naman, hinahanap ay host address. So, host address, kapag ang subnet mask mo ay 255, automatically the answer is 0. Kapag ang subnet mask mo ay 0, just simply copy the value above. Kaya naging 8. Kaya nakuha yung 0.0.18 .2 na host address. In 0.0.0.80 na host address. So that is the part 1 of our final exam. So dito kailangan nyo lang tandaan yung mga ranges natin, yung tsaka yung mga straight method na ginamit. 255 network address, copy. 0 network address, 0. Pag host address, kapag 0, copy the number. Kapag 2550. Then sa mga ranges para sa host and portion, kailangan determine kapag class A. So pag class A ang hinahanap natin IP address, yan, kailangan magsisimula siya sa 1 to 126. Class B, 128 to 191. Class C, and 192 to 223. Yan, pwede nyo ilagay ito sa index card. Yung mga yan, itong mga ranges. Pero naman kailangan nyo mga ranges na para magamit nyo for the exam natin on finals next week. Okay? And that's the end of our part 1 for the final exam. So next meeting, Thursday, will be face-to-face. That will be the part 2. So ganun din, ang gagamitin lang natin ay straight method. Wala tayong conversion o walang masyadong computation na gagamitin. And that will be the end of our discussion. Okay? So do you have any questions po ba and clarifications? Okay, so wala naman po bang tanong? Okay, so that's it. So, send ko naman yung PowerPoint later on para masundan nyo rin naman yung ano. Okay, and link for the video. Okay? So, if there's no further questions, that will be all for today. The attendance is auto-generated naman din sa Zoom. Meron naman siyang platform for the attendance. Okay? So, that's it. So, if there's no further questions, so that will be all for today. Sisend ko na lang po yung recording and the PowerPoint later on para masundan nyo rin naman siya. Okay? Ayan po. So, thank you. So, bye-bye. See you on Thursday sa ating face-to-face session for the last topic this semester. Okay po. So, thank you. Bye-bye. Abangan nyo na lang yung recording kasi i-upload ko pa. Okay, send ko na lang sa inyo yung link. Okay po. So, thank you. Bye-bye. Ingat.
Bye, sir. Thank you po.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye, sir.
Bye-bye.